Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.
All right, welcome in. What's going on, everybody? I'm Wes Moore. Glad you're with us for more sports as we start getting ready for Tennessee and discuss all the changes up on the hill with Bobby Petrino taking over. It's been a good week, and we're going to keep that rolling tonight with another former Razorback joining us who happened to play for Coach Petrino years ago, not too long ago. Braylon Mitchell joins us now. What's up, Braylon? How are you doing, man? It's
Man,
good to have
I'm
you
doing
on.
awesome. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me on, man. I get to take a break from painting my house a little bit, so thank you.
Good. I'm glad we could help you with something out there. That's the least I could do is help you with the painting job. All right, let's just start at the beginning because I haven't had you on in a while. What went through your mind when you heard the news that that Sam Pittman had been let go and Bobby Petrino was taking over?
Well, I'll start with Pittman. Just hearing that he was fired, it was kind of you knew it was coming, but you hated to see it, right? Pittman was a guy who, if you cut him open, he bled Razorback red. He loved his program. He loved the fans. He was very approachable with the fans. In fact, if you ever were walking around on campus, it was not unlikely for you to see him outside working out, exercising, coming up and speaking to you. So you hate to see that for him. But Petrino, you can't help but be happy for him. A guy who went out in one of the most darkest ways possible. I think everyone in the state was mad at him, for what he did. But he did it the right way. So to see him, deal with his issues, apologize to the state, come on the staff as an offensive coordinator, and work his way back to now being an interim head coach. It's awesome, but he still has some work to do. He's not the head coach yet. He's just an interim. The goal is to get that interim term off of there and just have him be the head coach.
It's all speculation, but you played and you practiced, went through some of his practices. What do you think the last 2 weeks have been like since he's taken?
Oh, I can tell you the last 2 weeks have been like 2 days in camp. Petrino is not a guy who believes in taking time off. The common perception around a bye week is, players are going to get the rest and recover. But Petrino's, no, we're still going 100 miles an hour, especially when you're coming off of one of the toughest 5-game stretches that the program has seen in years. Like, we have work to do, right? So I can assure you that Petrino probably held a team meeting, the next day after Pittman was fired and let go, and some of the other staff members as well. He held a team meeting. He probably told the guys, hey, listen, we're going to soak in our sorrows tonight, but tomorrow morning I expect everyone to be here ready to rock and roll and go. And if you want to stay on this boat ride with us, come prepared to work. Otherwise, we'll give you your walking papers now.
Something clearly was going on with the defense. We saw it, Memphis second half, all the Notre Dame game. What do you think happened? And then you see Pittman turn around and fire the defensive coordinator, fire, 3 defensive players, Braylon, or defensive coaches, I'm sorry. What do you think all that was about?
What you kind of broke up on me there. You said what I think about the coaches being let go?
Yeah. What do you think that was all about? Because the defense, we lost Braylon for just a second. We'll get him back on the stream. Gotcha. So, he lets go 3 defensive coaches with the struggles of the defense. But what do you think that was all about?
Well, Petrino's a guy, he expects perfection. And I think he's also a guy who knows that perfection is a level that no one in human or mankind will ever reach. But that defensive staff, they just were not headed in the right direction towards perfection. I mean, week in and week out, they got worse. You expect your players to get better week in and week out as far as game planning for teams and being ready to go, but they just never were. And so to see Petrino do that the next day by getting rid of those guys as well, it just shows you that he's passionate about this program. He understands kind of what the issue is. And let's get rid of that issue. Get some other guys in here who we think can help get this defensive team back up and rolling. And that's what he did. I think it's awesome.
We think of him as an offensive genius, an offensive coach. But what was it like playing defense for him?
So Petrino, more so than any coach I've ever been around, he's involved in all phases of the game. I can remember times where we wouldn't get downhill during tour days and make the tackles in the backfield like we were supposed to. And it was nothing to see him come into a defensive meeting and rip every single person in there who was on film playing lackadaisical, loafing, and being lazy. So he's very much a coach that's going to be involved in all phases of the game. And to play for a coach like that, you can't ask for anything better. Because again, when you think of him, you think like, man, he's probably going to spend majority of his time with the offense, but he truly cares about being one of the greatest teams out there, and that's why he's fully involved the way that he is.
Braylon, I've heard from former players that practices were kind of revolving around the offense, that the offense got more of the focus. Did you find that true with him, with under him, that nothing he didn't care about the entire team, but practices were kind of focused and centered around the offense?
Yeah, it was 100%. So under Petrino, unfortunately, I did not get very much playing time. I actually redshirted when he was here, and then my redshirt freshman year, he was let go. And so I spent a lot of time on the scout team. And I remember a funny story. And if I see him soon, I'm gonna tell him this story. But Ryan Mallett, rest his soul, was dropping back and throwing passes, and where I'm from, you don't allow anyone to make any plays. So I jumped up and I picked Ryan Mallett off, and I act like I was going to take it back to the house. And Petrino just ripped me a new one. He actually kicked me out of practice. And so that kind of goes to show you that he was practices. He wants his offense to be perfect. He wants them to complete every single pass because he knows if they get comfortable in practice with it, they're going to be comfortable doing it in the game. And so some of those Bobby Petrino teams of old, Arkansas teams of old, those were guys who got majority of the recognition in practice because he needed them to be able to put the product, he needed them to be able to take the product from practice over into game time, and you got to see that a lot.
This is a hard question to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway because the defense, we heard how much they love Travis Williams, that he will. We heard that all the time, but it didn't appear like they were playing for him for the Notre Dame game. The effort, whatever. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if we'll ever find out what was actually going on inside the locker room, the defense, what the issue was. But now what I have a hard time grasping is this was a coach they supposedly loved. You just fired him, the DB coach Woodson, the Deke Adams, the defensive line coach. How do you get those guys, those defensive guys that already had something wrong with them, focus back in and playing hard?
Well, Petrino is very much a guy you don't have a choice but to get focused back in because there's some guys, some red shirt guys, some second and third team guys who are just chipping at the bit to be able to take your spot. And so Petrino is a guy that if you don't get it together, he'll put another guy in. But I'll say this. I told one of my good friends, I said, I know a change was needed defensively, and as a head coach, we needed to get a new head coach. But I just feel like the players in general are the reason that the coaches got fired. When you look at the coaches, all the coach can do, Wes, is call a play. They're going to match their plays up against the scheme of the offense. And it's up to the players to go out there and do it. But these guys just act like they just could not get it done. And I wouldn't say that they were not playing for their coaching staff in the Notre Dame game or the Ole Miss game. I just think they're just lazy, man. And I really don't know what it was. It is a hard question to answer, but in general, it was terrible. But I can assure you, with Petrino taking over, you're going to see a lot of change on both sides of the ball.
Do you think things will be better when they play Tennessee?
Well, I mentioned earlier we were on a tough 5-game stretch. These last 7 games. Man, listen, don't get your feelings involved, Razorback fans, because it's going to be tough. But what I'll tell you is this. Coming off of what we've just witnessed over the last several weeks with Arkansas, you can't help but be excited when you have a guy like Petrino at the head of things. I can assure you he's going to have those guys ready to go in and compete against the likes of Tennessee, Auburn, and some of these other teams. So don't be surprised if we go in there and we win the game number 1, because Petrino is not a guy who's going to just take the back seat and pack this season in. He's going to have those guys ready to go. And if we don't win, don't be surprised if it's at least a competitive game.
Who would you like to see be the next head coach?
I like to see Petrino be the next head coach. I believe in life, everyone deserves a second chance. When I look at some of the things that Petrino went through, he put himself in first and foremost. But to be able to come back and apologize to his state, the guy had tears in his eyes. If you go back and look at that touchdown club interview that he did, I would like to see him do it. And I think he's going to put a product out there on the field that's going to make it hard for Hunter to go with anyone else as the head guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk what he needs to do, these last 7 games to get that shot. And I think more than anything, wins matter, but being competitive and not seeing what we saw on the field against Notre Dame again this season.
I can assure you, Wes, and you mark it down, man. Today, October the 7th or 8th, I'm sorry. You will not see another Arkansas team under Petrino perform like they did 2 weeks ago against Notre Dame. You won't see it. Petrino's a guy who his practices are ran like games. It's intense. It's fast. It's fast paced. Those guys are going to compete at a high level, or they won't be there. I'm telling you, you won't see a product like what we saw under Sam Pittman on his last game against Notre Dame. You'll never see it again under Petrino.
I'll tell you that. I mean, the practice reports, little snippets that I've been told that's leaked out. That's the biggest difference. Fast paced, just nonstop, go, go, go. No wasted time at practice, no wasted effort. It is from one drill to the next, and those guys are going nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop, man. I'll give you one quick other example. I remember when our offense couldn't get a first down on our defense. Coach Petrino made us run 4th and 1 like 25 times. We thought it was crazy because it was also like 115 degrees outside. But that goes back to show you that he's very much a perfectionist. And he wants to make sure that his teams get things done the right way. And if they don't get it done the right way, he's going to make practice that much more intense until things go the way that he needs them to go.
You seem kind of re-energized. I was expecting a different Braylon Mitchell tonight, but I guess this move has got you thinking maybe things are going in the right direction.
It does. It does, because I'm very much a guy who wants to see Petrino succeed. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him rewrite his story and have a better ending than what he did. He's a guy who it's hard to root against. When he was here, we won a lot of ball games, and you can't help but think that at least a national championship opportunity we would have been able to potentially get into. And so he's just a guy that's hard to root against, and I'm excited for him to be back. I'm excited for his family to be back. It's going to be great if he can just focus on the task at hand, finishing these last 7 games on a high level. I think he'll be the head coach, and we'll be even more excited this time next year.
Braylon, thanks, man. Great job as always. I always enjoy catching up with you and talking some Razorback football. We'll do it soon again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, it's Braylon Mitchell joining us on More Sports. It's time to talk a little high school football now. Let's talk a little high school football now and introduce the More Sports Player of the Week. It is Deuce Williams from Joe T. Robinson. He's joined by Coach Up DeGrove from Joe T. Guys, welcome into the show. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Appreciate you having us.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Deuce, 214 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns this past week in a home victory over Jacksonville. Tell me about the game. What were you feeling during the game?
During the game, it was it was a lot of just storylines going into the game, just a little bit, because the Coach Reggie, he used to coach AAU, so there's a little just something there. Then just Coach Up and then motivate me to start the game off. So,
Coach Up, how'd you motivate him?
Well, Jacksonville's obviously got a pretty good back themselves, and the one thing I'll say about Deuce Williams is he's a competitor. I use this story all the time. His first basketball game back last year after football was against Little Rock Christian. And they've obviously got JJ, who's a phenomenal player, being a 5-star and everything. After the game, I had to ask Deuce, I figured you guys would be really good friends since your dads both played in the NFL. They're both from South Arkansas. And he was like, we are. And I was like, brother, you couldn't tell out there because, they were going at it, and Deuce did a heck of a job on JJ. Obviously, JJ is going to get his with as talented as he is, but Deuce is just a competitor, and we kind of put it into his head that we think he's the best player in the state, and to go out there and prove it on both sides of the ball, and we felt like he really did that.
Deuce, what's your favorite? Because you play defense too, and then we see you on special teams. What's your favorite part of the game?
Really just scoring the touchdowns, I mean, because defense is great and all, but like the feeling once you score, get in the end zone, celebrate with your guys, it's just a great feeling.
How many touchdowns do you have now on the year?
15, I think.
How's that broken down, Coach? Because he's been doing it in all different ways.
Well, this was the first game where he didn't score in 3 different phases. Before last Friday night, I think we've done a kickoff return, we've got interception, we got a pick 6, we've got receiving, we've got rushing, and before last Friday night, he had either receive, rush, return to kick, or a pick 6 in every single game. So it's pretty special.
No, when you can score from any part of the field, that's a weapon. And I downloaded the clips from last Friday.
Hand off to Williams. Williams up the middle. Makes it command miss. This may be a touchdown right away. No need to block. Touchdown, Senators. First play, first score. Your Senators.
Could you guys see that highlight right there?
Yeah.
Deuce, tell me about that play.
Coach Brown, I mean, he was just hyping that play up all week. Been working on it. Then when he called it, he just told me, go put it in the end zone. And then that's what happened. So,
is that one of those plays when you hear it called in your mind, you're thinking, I can take this to the house?
Oh, for sure.
The blocking was pretty good, darn good too. Were you? I don't know if you were touched there, were you?
Not at all. The guys up front did their job, made me look even better. So
the next 2 touchdown runs were shorter touchdown runs. This one inside the 5. And what is that, Coach? That's a big package right there, following 74 right into the end zone.
Yeah, that's our gorilla package. We give it to Pat, big number 74. He scored a touchdown out of that, 33 yards against PA. And we were just trying to get a first down to ice the game. But I think Deuce loves having Pat right there in front of him. And our offensive line has done a great job blocking for him. But Deuce's last touchdown run is all Deuce. We didn't block it very well, and Deuce is just a special football player.
2 receivers on their side.
This is that last touchdown run right now. This one out for 40 yards. And what do you call that? 4 touchdowns. You got a trifecta for 3. What's 4?
That superfecta, right? We'll go horse racing here.
Yeah. What a jump cut right there. I mean, I'm going to play that again. That was nice. It looked like it was kind of bottled up. What's going through your mind on this play right here, Deuce?
To be honest, just a lot's going on because, like, you see, kind of got a little cloudy there. Then I just seen them crashing hard. They've been crashing hard all game, and I've been thinking about it in my head, but I was a little too scared to do it. And then I finally did it, and it worked out for me. And then my guys on the outside holding them in, blocking them. So they set me up perfectly, really.
Well, Deuce, right there you saw your speed. What is your speed? When's the last time you've been timed? What do you run the 40 in?
At one camp it was like 4.47, I'm pretty sure.
Coach, what makes him a great running back, great athlete?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface, actually, at running back. He didn't play it much. He played a little bit last year. But I think the sky's the limit, and that's what I've tried to tell college coaches is, last year was his first true offseason because he was at his previous school. He was playing basketball where they won a state title, so he was doing that until almost April, and then he had a hip injury when he moved in here. And so last year was after we got him after basketball in early March, and the numbers he's able to do in the weight room for a kid who hasn't lifted just a ton is pretty special. We cut him off at squat at 525 just because our form was getting a little bad. He could have kept going, but we don't want to tweak a back or anything. But Deuce, like I said, he competes, and I just think his will and eagerness to win and compete is just really special. That story I told about JJ, there's a couple of those, and it's just, he has the ability to turn it on when the lights come on and compete. And that's really special. And it's not any malice or anything like that. He's just a kid who wants to win. And, a lot of that's attributed to his parents. Obviously, they were both high-level athletes, and Deuce is following up with that.
All right, Deuce, what's the goal for the rest of the season?
The goal for the rest of the season is just keep doing what we've been doing. Just get better every week. Just slowly get to where we can. Just our best, really. Just slowly get to where we're just at our best and our peak, really.
Deuce, I like to spread the love with the player of the week and the team of the week. It'll be up to you to force my hand and make me pick you the player of the week again and get you back on here.
Yes, sir.
That's my challenge towards you right there. Make me do it again.
Yes, sir. Of course. I'm going to try to.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. Coach Up, thank you for your time. I appreciate y'all coming on. And Deuce, once again, congratulations for being the More Sports Player of the Week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Good luck Friday night.
Thank you.
The rest of the way. Deuce Williams, Coach Up from Joe T. Robinson, joining us on More Sports. And I should point out, it was a pretty close vote. You had T.J. Hodges from Bryant, had a big game, 15 carries, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was second in the voting. Jeff Reagan out of Rogers, the quarterback, threw for 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 267 yards and 3 more touchdowns. That guy can go. He is a really phenomenal athlete there at Rogers. And Bentonville West, the sophomore V.J. Warren, had 310 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns. He had a 96-yard touchdown return on a kickoff. He was 12 rushes, 115 yards, 2 more touchdowns, and he caught 5 passes for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. So pretty awesome effort, 4 efforts this past Friday night, and it is Deuce Williams, our player of the week. That's going to do it for tonight. That was a fun show. Thank you for joining as always. Coming up tomorrow night, Sean Andrews. Speaking of J.J. Andrews, Sean's going to join us. JJ's dad, former Razorback offensive lineman. We're going to talk a little Razorback football with him, and we'll get Thomas Thrash on here, and we'll make our picks for the high school football games. Take a look at the top games across the state, and it's this loaded schedule for Friday night. It's going to be a fun show. Hope you can join us. Come back here tomorrow night for more sports.
All Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.